So right now, let's just say you're with that friend group of your lifting friends, person X, Y, Z, and yourself, and then someone else enters the room that you kind of want to bring into that group. If they just walk up and start talking, that's going to be super weird, right? But if you go, "Hey, person W, come over here, check this out," that's what you're kind of doing with this. Is that let's just say there's a new type of shoe for powerlifting, and you try it out, and it's just cash money, and you're like, "Oh, these are the best shoes I've ever had." Now you found a way to get into that social network group without actually being in that social network. And so that's usually what we're looking for is a particular user to get in on that. Just like you'd have a celebrity endorse some headsets or like headphones or whatever. That's what you're trying to do is get into those little groups. And
So
little
you're
niches.
analogizing the advertising to like relationships or conversations, or are
Well-
you making a deeper point?
No, I mean, marketing should be about relationships.
Yeah.
Marketing is about long-term relationships, and that's how it should be. Because if you have a good experience with those shoes, and then you have tell your friends about them and you buy more, but then you also contact the company and go, "Hey, I really would like this if it had a zipper rather than a shoelace or whatever." Then they make a zippered shoe. Now they've got you even more, right? And so there's that symbiosis of I give you money, you give me exactly what I want, and then it goes back and forth, and we're both becoming better for it. Marketing should be relationship-based.
One of the things that has come up on the podcast before, and probably hasn't come up enough, is the value of brands as a reputational effect. To sort of get away from that sterile idea of competition always being in a negative light. But we develop brand loyalties very quickly and very, very strongly in a lot of cases. Some people are completely utilitarian and
Yeah.
whatever the price or the function, they'll just, but I know if I've had a good experience with a particular product, like I'm an ambassador for that
Yeah.
product now. And I'm not a particularly like brand conscious person. It's just, like you said, a relationship of being treated right. And if your customer service is really good and really fast, you buy a lot of leeway. It's actually funny you mentioned powerlifting and bring this up because I had a new specialty bar
Okay.
that I wanted. I saved up my money and purchased, and I ordered it. And of course, it's all back ordered because all the weightlifting equipment in the world is
Only
sold
since
out.
February
Only
of
since
last
February.
year.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like back ordered for I want to say for a month, like a full month, right? But I had like some account. I didn't get an email from them, so I'm like, okay, you took my money, but now I don't even have an order number, right? So I gave it like, I don't know, 2-3 days or something. And I emailed them. And then the response I got back was very detailed and like, obviously not a bot that was just dealing with me. They sent me an order and it's like, so immediately they like brought down that concern level that I had. Wait, am I being scammed? Now, this is a company I've done business with on smaller things in the past. And it's a legitimate company. So I'm not worried about being like screwed.
Yeah.
Which is another aspect to the brand and the recognition and why that kind of thing is important. But I think that idea of like marketing to relationship, people feel like marketing and targeted advertising is somehow to like take advantage of them.
Oh no, that's the thing about marketing is that there is no doubt that marketing can have bad actors. That's just the way it is. I mean, if there's a way to possibly manipulate, there are some people that do that. But in my humble opinion, as a pure marketer in the positive sense, it is a positive relationship. I want you to be the best powerlifter you can. And the reason why I'm in business is to make those shoes that make you the best. Because as you get better, the more you're going to like my stuff, and then you're going to become a brand advocate. And so you should be thinking that way, right?
In a lot of markets, the people that are doing that, they got started because they fundamentally care about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So again, not to harp on powerlifting, maybe we'll pick different examples later on, but there are people that are having these companies because they care about powerlifting and they're like, oh, but I can, well, the specialty bar I was telling you about, it literally got made because the guy was like, hey, here's a company I can start to fix this defect in other people's equipment, and now people like me are buying there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that why do markets exist? Well, because you and I were doing something, and all of a sudden we went, it'd actually be better, a bar with a double layer or whatever.
Yep.
It has lowered down or whatever it winds up being because we're seeing a market need. The market need exists because I have a passion for that. It's very unlikely that someone's going to create something for powerlifting that probably doesn't even participate in it, right? They're at least going to have some sort of a tie to it where they're, you see, like you see like your wife doing something, and you're like, oh, this is what we should be doing, right? This is how you fix this problem. And so that's why markets exist, right? It's not like someone's just like, no, I'm gonna get in on this market by forcing this thing that nobody wants on it. It's not going to work, right?
It's people from within the industry almost all the time, right?
Yeah, and so generally you have people who are passionate about it. I really want to, I had an injury, so now I created this different type of bar that's safer for me to squat or whatever it winds up being.
That's actually exactly the example.